The Charlotte Hornets took care of the Miami Heat tonight in overtime. I am your host, Danny Thompson, senior NBA writer for the 3pointconversion.com. Also, host of Beyond the Buzzer, and this is the best post-game show involving your Charlotte Hornets, the team I cover on a daily basis. And guess what? This is the best post-game show you're going to find live. So if you're on the Happs TV app, thank you for subscribing. That way you get all my notifications when we go live, because a lot of times we don't know what time the game is going to go on or the show is going to go live because of post-game press conferences and everything else. Also, if you're brand new to the show as well, too, thank you for stopping by. For all the people who have stopped in many of times, also welcome back as well too. If you have not subscribed to Happs, please do so. You'll see it in the top left-hand corner, which will be at happs.tv, and then you see the @ sign, which is Danny Thompson as well. Also, if you sign up to Happs, you also can get the notifications every time I go live, as well as you subscribe to plenty of outstanding journalists from all across the United States in all different genres, sports, entertainment, business, everywhere else you can find them. And then also for signing up, you do get 100 coins that you get to also not only support my work, but also support other journalists you see as well too. So if you're in the chat, by the way, stop by, say hi. As you see my man Mike Patton, as always, stopping by with the what's up from Nashville. Big ups to Mike. Also check out his AFC South show on Happs on a regular basis throughout the week. And yes, Mike, as you know, tonight Malik Monk did go nuts. But this is the game tonight. The big story tonight was the fact of not only was the Hornets on the road tonight, it was the debut and the first start for LaMelo Ball. We got word of notification right around 30 minutes before 30 minutes for the tip-off tonight that we were going to be able to get LaMelo Ball in the starting lineup. Terry Rozier couldn't go because of the sprained ankle that he had on Saturday night. And it was LaMelo Ball. It was LaMelo Ball's time. For every Hornets fan that had seen LaMelo Ball and the day he was drafted, everybody had been waiting for this moment. Now, did we want it to happen this way due to an injury? We really didn't, especially for a guy like Terry Rozier and just anybody on the roster in general. Having that type of injury, you didn't want it to happen this way. But just like the game on Saturday night, we didn't have a post-game show on Saturday because I took the night off. But just like the game on Saturday, it was next man up. When Terry went down right around halftime or in the third quarter, we saw Charlotte take a completely different turn. As Coach James Borrego has always said this season, it's always been about the word resiliency. And what Charlotte was resilient with on Saturday night was the fact that they had to mold themselves in a completely different format than what they've had. We saw small ball. We saw what the evolution of small ball had been. Then Cody Zeller gets hurt 15 minutes into the first game of the season, and they had to take the one guy that actually had height at almost 7 foot tall, and Cody Zeller 7 foot tall, and you had to go Bismack Biyombo at 6'8", and you had PJ and you had LaMelo. The team was not very tall, so we go through a whole stretch of games, and then Cody gets back in the lineup, and then Cody has to work his way back in the starting lineup. At all the while, you see the small ball process kind of fading a little bit as Biyombo goes out of the rotation, and then they start making more changes. Well, tonight was one of those more changes and more evolution to his quote-unquote resilient Hornets. And this might be the new theme or maybe the new hashtag if the Hornets are paying attention tonight, because it's all fly. The hashtag is all fly, but maybe it might be hashtag resilient buzz, because tonight was all about resiliency. So tonight, the Miami Heat, they went down to Miami for a quick road trip before they head back home. And this was a game that was a back and forth start from the very beginning. Charlotte and Miami was having a slugfest in the first quarter. And it really, if you would have said when this game started that the biggest point getter for either team was two guys coming off the bench, you probably would have won $1 million. Or as you see, Homie Forte thought it would be a nice game show. Big shout out to Homie for stopping through, and also donate the 15 cents as well too. Because if you would have guessed that Malik Monk and Max Strauss would be the two leading scorers on the floor in the end of the first quarter, you would have guessed completely right and won a lot of money. MJ Will in the chat about PJ Washington. Is he going to be okay? Before I continue about the game, the update on PJ Washington is they're flying back in tomorrow. So they're flying back in tonight. They'll have him looked at tomorrow. It was an ankle injury. He did not return when he left in the third quarter. It looks similar to the Terry Rozier injury that we saw on Saturday. we'll hopefully know more tomorrow. We haven't had, like I said, there was no word tonight on the severity of it. He did leave the game. He did take his shoes off on the side of the floor, so we really don't know much more than that. Coach Borrego did not speak about PJ in postgame, so we don't know much more, and the Hornets haven't said anything. I expect to have them have some kind of look at the ankle tomorrow, and he'll be more likely a game time decision for Wednesday night's game against Philadelphia and Charlotte. So in the first quarter, like I said, LaMelo Ball was all it was all about LaMelo Ball, but the part that kind of did the debut dirty or kind of got him out of the fact that LaMelo got in foul trouble early. He picked up 2 quick fouls. He picked up 2 fouls in about a span of about less than a minute, and it got him out the game. Miami was already up 21-12 at that point. And then out goes Ball, in comes Malik Monk, and the firepower brigade of Malik Monk started. Monk came out, hit 12 points in the first quarter, and knocked down all 4 3-pointers. No problem, MJ. Always cop through. I appreciate the love. But Malik came out and knocked down 4 3-pointers in the first quarter, and it was between him and Max Strus. If you've never heard of Max Strus, probably 95% of the NBA fans never heard of him. He played at a Division II school, transferred to DePaul, was one of those guys that was a 4-year guy, and of course, another guy Miami finds that nobody pays attention to, a.k.a. Kendrick Nunn, a.k.a. Duncan Robinson. I can go all day with this. Max Strus, a guy, like I said, Duncan Robinson came out early and Max Strus came out firing. If you're watching the game, you're thinking to yourself, who is this Max Strus guy? Because I'm in my living room wondering what is going on. Strus and Monk are going 3-pointer for 3-pointer in the first quarter, and it was a game that had it was at one point Miami was up by 11. Charlotte kept fighting back. Keyword resiliency. Miles Bridges was working on the offensive glass. He was getting rebounds. The problem was Charlotte couldn't do much in the first quarter because PJ was struggling. PJ really had a rough first quarter. It was a rough night for him before the injury. He was 1 for 3 in the quarter. Cody got off to a good start by he hit his first couple of baskets. And like I said, Monk was knocking down 3-pointers. The problem was Charlotte couldn't figure out how to stop Max Strus behind the 3-point line, and the Heat hit 6 3-pointers in the first quarter, 29-28 at the end of one. The good news is the Heat didn't get to 30. Remember, Del Curry has been saying this literally since opening night. If Charlotte keeps teams under 30 each quarter, they got a chance to win. We get to the second quarter, and the real question was, when does James Borrego bring LaMelo Ball back in? Because remember, Charlotte's already running an 8-man rotation. You don't have Terry Rozier. Monk was out there shooting the ball really, really well in the first half, and you just didn't want LaMelo to pick up that third foul. And of course, with 6 minutes into the quarter, LaMelo picks up the third foul. So Borrego had a huge decision whether to play him or really just let him ride and let him rest, because you don't want him to pick up that foul. Second quarter was really about Cody Zeller. Zeller started initiating his will on the glass. 3 offensive rebounds, 6 in the quarter. He had 7 points to go along with that. But really, if it wasn't for him on the offensive glass, hitting the glass, Charlotte would have been struggling the whole time. Caleb Martin came in, knocked down a 3-pointer. Monk hit a couple more 3-pointers. And Charlotte kept fighting with Miami. They had the lead at one point in the quarter. But remember, this was a back and forth affair. Charlotte was really doing all the little things to keep themselves in the game. They got the lead down to 3 as Monk missed a 3 at halftime. 57-54 at the break. Like I said, Monk had the 18 points to lead the Hornets at the break. He had 6 3-pointers. It was one away from his career high at that point. Like I said, Max Strus was literally, Max Strus, if you had him in fantasy basketball tonight, you won a lot of money tonight, because he was a guy that in most draft leagues or anything else was like probably the bottom of the barrel. He had a career high, literally I think it was 17 in the first half, set his career high in the first quarter. He finished the first half with 17 points at the break. Strus had 17. Bam Adebayo had 9 points and 5 rebounds for the Heat. Like I said, Monk had 18 for Charlotte in the first half on 6 3-pointers. Cody had 13 and 7 in his first half of the game. So when you look at what Charlotte had the issues with, what Charlotte had been having problems with over the last few weeks is the fact that they could not defend the 3-point line. And Peter, what's up, my main man Peter from Happs? Check out Peter, one of the leaders of the Happs app as well, too. MJ in the chat, Malik Monk needs more minutes. He wishes the Timberwolves can trade for him. Listen, the Timberwolves got enough issues in that backcourt. Don't think they need another one. And then, I'll talk more NBA on a different pod maybe sometime later on this week. But don't worry, MJ. I'll talk about your Timberwolves as well too. So we get to the third quarter, and this is the part of the game where Charlotte tried to pull away from this game, and it was a back and forth affair. Charlotte regained the lead in the third quarter and started kind of extending the lead. They got the lead. Miami took the lead at the beginning part of the quarter, got the lead up to 7, and the fight in Charlotte Charlotte kept chipping at the lead. And then finally, Charlotte get the lead down to 2. Unfortunately, as PJ Washington, LaMelo misses a layup, PJ got the stick back in the foul. At that point, PJ goes down. Give Miles Bridges credit for the steal. Charlotte's playing 4-on-5 on defense. Bridges hits layup and the foul, and a timeout happened. Washington goes down. They had to take him off the court. It was a scary moment. The same thing that we saw with Terry on Saturday. Charlotte goes down, and then Charlotte got the lead. They got the lead up to 4, and it seemed like the injury. Most times when a guy gets hurt, you've seen that a team just somehow loses momentum, but this kind of sparked the Hornets at this point. So at this point, it was 77-75 when Washington finally comes out of the game. Charlotte goes on a 12-5 runs in the quarter. Devontae knocked down a 1 3-pointer. Hayward knocked one down. Bridges knocked one down. Monk got to the free throw line, and Charlotte started extending the lead. It felt like the momentum of the Buzz started picking up. 88-82 at the end of 3. LaMelo led the team in scoring in that quarter with 8. Also grabbed 3 rebounds and also had 2 assists. We started seeing much more the maturation of LaMelo Ball, because remember, this is a new adversity for him tonight, because guess what? This is the first time he's had to do a foul trouble. And on top of that, it's the first time him dealing with foul trouble where he knows there is no recourse at backup point guard unless it's Devontae Graham. And the minute totals are going to pile up. Big shout out to my main man, Daniel Artest over at 265 Media. Always my guy. Go check out his NBA podcast. One of the realest guys in the business. Don't let the last name fool you. He is a real dude. That's my guy down in South Carolina. But check out his pods on many of nights on the Happs app. We get in the fourth quarter, and Miami starts exerting their will. Once again, like I said, Charlotte got the lead back up to 7 on Devontae Graham 3-pointer, and Devontae Graham's name is going to keep popping up, Hornets fans. I know. You got the people who love Devontae, the people who hate him. Miami started getting back in this game. Between Andre Iguodala, let me before I continue. Andre Iguodala, of all people tonight, was literally lighting 3-pointers up everywhere. Now, I don't know what in the NBA 2K realm was this. I don't know what kind of VC he bought for himself, but I guarantee you, Andre Iguodala is not a guy who had the 3-point shooting badge, because tonight it seemed like he had the 3-point shooting badge. He knocked down 3 3-pointers tonight. I don't know what got in his system became Andre Iguodala the 3-point shooter, but he was the 3-point shooter tonight. He had a huge 3-pointer to get the lead down to 2. Dragic knocked down a 3-pointer. Miami took the lead. Miami extended the lead up to 5 after he hit a second 3-pointer, and the lead started trickling down. After that lead, Charlotte started, like I said, chipping back at the lead, and both teams were going back and forth, and this became the Jimmy Butler part of the show. And yes, I said the Jimmy Butler part of the show because at 97-92, Monk had hit a 3-pointer to cut to 2. Jimmy Butler then scores 8 consecutive points, and at this point, if you've watched enough Hornets basketball, when Jimmy Butler hit that layup to give a 7-point lead, and Charlotte called timeout before 21 of the game, you kind of figure Butler had 21 at that point. It was starting to get away from him. Duncan Robinson knocked down a 3-pointer. The game became 10. Miami extended the lead to another 10 points after Monk got an IM1. Hero knocked down a 3-pointer. It's now a 10-point game with 3 minutes and 11 seconds left, and you're thinking to yourself, this is probably it for Charlotte tonight. Well, resiliency is the word, and that's the name of the show tonight. It's all about resiliency, because the Hornets came out in that final 3 minutes and 11 seconds, and the Heat got 1 basket, and that was an easy basket for Bam Adebayo on a dunk where Charlotte pretty much let him in the lane. Charlotte's possessions were all great possessions down the stretch. Hayward, Monk, then Devontae hit another 3-pointer. Devontae caused got 2 free throws, and then and really the shot selection for the Heat wasn't that good, because when Miami was taking this lead over, they were letting Jimmy Butler get to the basket. In that stretch between about the 3-minute mark and about the 30-second mark, Miami took 3 3-pointers in that stretch. 2 of them from Iguodala, 1 from Tyler Hero. Hero normally hits that shot, but Iguodala should not have been launching 3-pointers at any point in time. Charlotte was getting easier shots at the rim, and they were hustling. Hayward got to his spot. Monk used his pull-up. That was his first shot of the game. That wasn't a three-pointer. Graham knocked down a three-pointer. And once again, I said Graham also caused the and one at Iguodala. And then Borrego, in one of his smartest moves that he's probably done all year coaching, he called a timeout. So after Iguodala missed that three-pointer, it's a three-point game. Devontae gets the rebound, and then he brings it up court. Charlotte had nothing in the situation, and they made a substitution. They brought Monk back in the game. They brought LaMelo Ball back in the game, and the inbound play happened from Malik Monk. Monk gets around the corner and knocks down at that point. I think it was his 8th three-pointer of the game at that point. Set a career high in this game with three-pointers. And at that point, Charlotte had taken the game over. The game goes to overtime, and hey, listen, when the game got to overtime, Charlotte, who was already down, no PJ Washington, LaMelo had 5 fouls. The team picked it up in overtime. You would have thought that Eric Spoelstra wouldn't have gotten out-coached. And when I say out-coached, because the way Jimmy Butler was going in that fourth quarter, Butler had one shot in the final 3 minutes. He missed a shot he normally makes in the paint, but they did not get him the ball at all in those final stretches when he was taking the game over. Charlotte got to overtime, and then Cody had a huge dunk from LaMelo. Gordon hit a couple of shots in a row, and then Graham hit the big, huge three-pointer to make it a 7-point game. At that point, Charlotte stretched the lead out, and Charlotte finishes off business. Malik Monk knocked down some free throws at the end of the game, and Charlotte handles business tonight, 116 to 108 over the Miami Heat. The Hornets are now 10-11 on the season, their third consecutive win. Their third win in an interesting format, an interesting way they've done it. Like I said, Malik finished the game with a career-high 36 points, knocked down 9 three-pointers in the game, had 5 rebounds, and a couple assists. Gordon Hayward had 19 points to go along with 6 rebounds, a couple assists, 3 assists and 2 steals. Like I said, Devontae Graham had 19 of his 24 in the second half in overtime. He hit 6 three-pointers in the game. Charlotte knocked down 21 three-pointers. It was the third consecutive game that his team had over 30 assists and over 15 three-pointers made in the game. Those were what Charlotte got for you tonight. Miami was led by Jimmy Butler, who had 25 points in the game, to go on with 9 rebounds, 5 assists. Bam Adebayo, 23 points and 9 rebounds. And Matt Strauss had 19 points, but only 2 after halftime. All right, so let's go into this game, and what did we learn from this game? Besides the word resiliency, what we learned from this game tonight was, honestly, it was 53 minutes of an evolution of the Charlotte Hornets. And when I say evolution, if you watch this team long enough, games like this, Charlotte would have never won in the last couple of years. They would not have won these types of games if this would have been last season or 2 years ago. Games like this, Charlotte didn't win because of the fact that they didn't know how to win. The last 2 games, the Hornets have come out and in situations where they've had their backs against the wall, they have rose to the occasion. These are wins that are momentum-changing, season-changing types of wins. A week ago, I had just mentioned if Charlotte got into a stretch of games where they had lost 2 out of 3 to Indiana and Milwaukee, with Miami, you're thinking LaMelo Ball is going to be a star lab because of performance. Well, look at the last 4 games. They have beaten Indiana, Miami, and Milwaukee in the last 3 games. They've won 3 of their last 4, 3-game winning streak. And now they have Philadelphia on Wednesday. We don't know what's going to happen in Philadelphia. How you doing, Heavily Duke? Good. Hello, all you from Dallas as well, too. I appreciate you stopping through. And always, thank you very much. Now, at the same time, Square Night, I'm not going to mention IQ. I know Quigley has been phenomenal in New York, and I'll get to that later on this week on the NBA show. I promise you, I'm doing the NBA show later on this week. But back to the buzz. This was a game of Charlotte playing next man up. PJ goes down due to injury in the second half, midway through the third quarter, and that just led to, guess what, the next man stepping up. And even though we didn't see Biz tonight because really it was an 8-man rotation, Caleb Martin did so much because Caleb Martin from the fan base of Charlotte, he catches a lot of flack, okay? Caleb is not a guy that's going to be a starter in this league, but everybody in the NBA needs a Caleb and a Cody Martin on the team. 2 guys that will literally just do the little things that you do, whether they dive for loose balls, or in Caleb's case, he goes out there and when you need offense, he gives it to you. Cody gives you defense when you need it. They're guys, they don't necessarily have to be starters because every team that wins, there's always guys that just do little things, intangible guys. And those what the Martin twins do. And then Caleb Martin comes in tonight and played some really, really good minutes, not just in the offensive end, but he played on the defensive end. Because when PJ goes down, Caleb comes in the game and he just plays minutes. He finished tonight and he played a lot of minutes. The numbers don't show it. If you look at the stat sheet, it was only 1 for 4, but he had a couple of key defensive plays. He had 4 assists, he had 4 points, he had a couple of rebounds. There was some plays that he challenged at the rim. He just did things on both ends of the court. Like I said, sometimes statistics don't show what they did, and he really spelled a lot of minutes tonight because Charlotte really went deep in the rotation tonight. Because Gordon played 42 minutes, Devontae played 41, Cody played 40 tonight, Malik played 40, Melo played 32. But before Hornets fans get mad about why he played 32 minutes, if you watch the game, he was in foul trouble. And even JB said after the game tonight, he was in foul trouble. And this game tonight, like I said, was a bunch of redemptions tonight, and I'm going to call this, like I said, besides the redemption game, this is the Malik Monk game. This was Monk's best game of his career. If anybody deserved to have a night like this, it was Malik Monk. Malik has been through a lot, literally, since last season. He was suspended for, the rest of the season due to things that happened off the court. You can speculate all day long what it was, but it costed him the rest of his season. He spent 8 months dealing with the fact of he had to get himself back in the good graces with this franchise. He had to earn the trust of not only just his teammates, the coaching staff, the front office, everybody that went out to get Malik 3 years ago. He really he's a feel-good story of this team. Everybody has seen the potential. Everybody knows the potential of Malik Monk. Everybody does. There's not one player on that roster, and even Mitch Kupchak said it in many of times between the last time they played this game and the start of the season, Malik Monk is the most talented player on this roster. He just has to put it all together. JB had mentioned that Malik he needed to mature, and he spent the last 8 months maturing as a basketball player. And one of the things that he mentioned tonight was it was about Malik growing up and not taking things personal like he used to. Things would get to him. Even Malik said tonight when he worked hard in the offseason, he dealt with COVID, and he even said himself when he found out he was in the rotation to start the season, he was pissed. He even said it. He was pissed. But instead of sulking, he turned that into knowing, okay, when my time comes, I'm gonna make the best of it. And he made the best of it. And to see him not only have a game like tonight, to set a career high in 3-pointers, to set a career high in points, to play better than defensive end. He played 40 minutes tonight. If you look at all the numbers he put up tonight, besides the points, tonight was a career high in minutes. As far as the shooting goes from the floor, he had a career high in field goals tonight. Hit a career high in 3-pointers. He was everywhere on the floor tonight. And even what he did was you saw the defensive effort. Malik has never been known for defense. He's never been known for defense. And he's never going to be an all-NBA defensive player. But what we saw from Malik tonight was a kid that was trying. And that's what Coach Borrego wants. If you're not going to be the best defender in the league, and not everybody is. It's all about the defensive effort. And what the defensive effort we got from Malik tonight was way better than what we've seen. Give the Hornets a lot of credit in the second half. They had 8 first half turnovers. In the final 29 minutes of the game, that includes overtime, Charlotte had 3 turnovers, 1 in each quarter and 1 in overtime. Charlotte didn't give the ball away. They made very good of all their possessions. Another thing Charlotte did in the second half was they started becoming more aggressive when it comes to getting to the rim. They only had 9 free throw attempts in the first half. They started becoming more aggressive. We saw it went 6 for 6 in the third quarter. They got to the line 15. They got to the line was in the second half. They got to the line almost 13 times in the second half. It was 15 times in the second half. Charlotte became much more the aggressor getting to the line. We started seeing the evolution. Now, what does this mean in the grand scheme of things? Okay, well, the grand scheme of things is this. Charlotte is not going to win the NBA championship at this point in time because, listen, 6'8" and small ball ain't going to work, okay? But what it does do is, and now we don't know PJ's situation, Charlotte's an exciting team to watch. I mentioned on Twitter, win or lose, the Hornets might be the most fun group to watch in the NBA. On top of LaMelo Ball making plays, because he made a couple of them, that dish to Cody Zeller in overtime for the dunk, those are things LaMelo Ball does. Now, what we're getting from LaMelo, okay, yeah, he had the fouls tonight, but the defensive effort was there. He knocked out a couple 3-pointers from way out and from other parts of Florida. He is driving to the rim. He's showing aggression, and it's all about evolution. It's all about what we're seeing. And a lot of Hornets fans were upset that LaMelo was coming off the bench to start the season, but you can tell there's a reason why that he did, because the mistakes that he was making, he's not making those same mistakes. Also, Gene Giuliani, I appreciate you subscribing. Thank you, by the way. It means you get to know when the next version of the show is on Wednesday night. Thank you for stopping by and subscribing as well, too. All right, so take away LaMelo's 3 for 11 performance, because like I said, I'm one of the first people to give LaMelo his credit, and I'm also the first person to be the type of person that will look into his game, because I'm very objective about it. Yeah, he was 3 for 11. He'll never tell you it was nerves, because I asked him after the game tonight, was this the first game experience that he wanted? He kind of laughed about it. He kind of was hesitant about it. He said really never thought about it. But even Malik said that you can tell, and LaMelo will never tell you that he was nervous, but you can tell in the early parts of the game, it was a little different type of nerves for him. Everybody is nervous for a game, but your first start, it's a little bit of nerves here and there. So he played well. I think the foul trouble kind of took him out of the game. It got him out of the flow of the rhythm. He was going to play more minutes than this tonight. The 32 minutes wasn't capped. He was going to play more. I think the foul trouble took him out of the game. But just remember, he did knock down 2 3-pointers tonight. He got to the line 6 times tonight. He hit all of them. One thing I've been big on LaMelo is getting to the free throw line. Charlotte got to the line 26 times tonight, and LaMelo with 6 of 6 from the line tonight. He had 5 rebounds, 7 assists. Charlotte now wins their 7th game of the year. Is it 7 games now, or is it? I think it's 7 games now this year that when LaMelo Ball plays 28 or more minutes, the Hornets win. This is a growing trend. Get the kid minutes. As long as he's not fouling out, let him get to the 29-minute mark, and we'll fight from there. But Charlotte has played some really good basketball. You really can only say that the Hornets are looking up from here, because they're going to need to, because the next couple of games is not looking pretty right now. And I'm gonna get the number. I think I'm gonna get the correct number from LaMelo. I think it's either 6-2 or 7-2. I'll check that for you right now. Hornets are on the year when LaMelo plays 27 or more minutes in a game this year. Hornets are okay. My screen had froze. I'm sorry as I try to pull the number up. Charlotte is. They are a grand total of 7-2 when LaMelo plays 27 or more minutes. Charlotte's 10-11 on the year, but they're 7-2. So that means as we get to Philadelphia wins tonight, that means he needs to stay out of foul trouble. Philadelphia will make him work. One thing Eric Spoelstra did an outstanding job was they were trying to get Melo caught in the pick and roll where Melo picked up some cheap fouls. He picked up 2 of them tonight, and those are things you can't get mad at him. Those are fouls that happen. One foul was he was trying to stop Jimmy Butler from a dunk. We can't get mad at that. The other foul was a real ticky-tack foul the referee gave in the first quarter, which caused LaMelo's second. But it's maturation. He's going to make mistakes. He's going to make mistakes. There's going to be games like this. But the good news is you had Malik score 39 points. You had Malik score his 36 tonight. Devontae had 24. And LaMelo contributed as well, too. Like I said, those 3-pointers. Like I said, the 14 points, the 7 assists, the 5 rebounds. Ironically, he didn't get a steal tonight. He let the Buzzes steals all season. Didn't have anything tonight. Like I said, 3 turnovers I can live with, because for a rookie, you can live with 3 turnovers because they weren't really bad turnovers. I mean, the one he missed Miles on the alley-oop, that's just him, throwing alley-oops to Miles. But Charlotte played really, really well. It was a resilient effort from Charlotte tonight. It got ugly. I thought Charlotte was going to have a chance to put this game away early in the fourth quarter. Like I said, but Miami's made the NBA Finals for a reason. Jimmy Butler is one of the best players in the league. I just was surprised that Spoelstra stopped going to him, or the team stopped flowing the basketball to him, especially when he scored 8 straight points. Butler should have closed his game out. And you know what? Charlotte's 10-11. Let's talk about Philadelphia wins tonight. Listen, The NBA's best defensive team comes to Charlotte, and they are locked and loaded. Okay. And when I say locked and loaded, this is not your garden variety Philadelphia 76ers team, because Doc Rivers has his team playing completely different. The Sixers are a dangerous team, and they are leading the Eastern Conference for a reason. The Sixers are playing arguably the best defense in the NBA. Doc Rivers has found a way to use Joel Embiid effectively, on top of Ben Simmons not being forced to shoot the basketball, and Rivers is letting Ben Simmons be Ben Simmons. Simmons' scoring numbers are down, but who cares? He's shooting almost 54% from the floor. He's averaging 13 points, almost 8 rebounds, and 8 assists a game, on top of being one of the NBA's best leaders in steals, 1.7. Embiid at 28 and almost 12 a game. He's dominating on the offensive side of the ball. He's not shooting as much as being 3-pointers, but his 3-point percentage is over 40% this year. So Embiid on the season is at 50, 40, 85 for a center. Charlotte's going to have issues in the interior. PJ Washington, we don't know about PJ's injury, and we also don't know what Terry Rozier's situation is. Hopefully we'll get an update on both of those sometime tomorrow, if we have a chance to catch up with the Hornets tomorrow. Other guys to watch this game: Tobias Harris is at almost 21 points a game this season. Seth Curry, yes, Dell's son coming to town. The NBA's best 3-point shooter. He's hitting 50% of his 3-pointers. The Sixers as a team is one of the best 3-point shooting teams in the NBA. They hit a good number of them. They have a bunch of guys that knock down over 40%. You have three of their major guys who knock down 3-pointers on a regular basis. Embiid's at 40%. Harris is at 40, almost 47. And I said Curry's at almost 50%. Danny Green can knock down a three-pointer. Tyrese Maxey had a really, really good start as a rookie. The Sixers have a lot of good players. Shake Milton's at almost 15 points a game. So the Sixers have plenty of weapons, but defensively, this is a team that is hard to beat defensively. They're very good at not allowing teams to hit shots. They're really good in chasing behind the 3-point line. And like I said, Embiid's a monster everywhere, and the Sixers score 113 points a game. The one thing with Philadelphia you've got to worry about is if you're playing against them, you have to be able to know that Devontae's going to have a hard time scoring, because if they move Ben Simmons on him, it's 6'10" on 6'2", on 6 foot. It's a matchup problem everywhere. So they're going to have to find ways to get Devontae around screens. They're going to need Malik Monk. Hopefully he gets, but they're going to need Malik Monk to score. They're going to probably need somebody else to step into the lineup. If PJ is out, expect Miles Bridges to be in the lineup. The question is for Coach Borrego is, because it's Embiid, will Biyombo get in the rotation, or will we see Nick Richards? Will Nick Richards get his chance to shine in the situation? And the other real news is now Charlotte will be, if Washington's out and Rozier's out, Charlotte's going to be short on guys. Will they get one of the G League guys to come back up? And the second thing is, will they pass protocol? Remember, Carey's down in Orlando, so is Jalen McDaniels, so is Grant Riller. And Nate Darling, those three guys who were with the roster are now down in Florida. They already called Richards back up because they have enough players. Will Borrego go down to the G League and go grab somebody a week before they kick off action down in Florida? So follow me on Twitter at DannyDA, number 3 Thomas on Twitter, as well as follow my work on AroundTheAssociation.com, the 3-point conversion. Also check out the YouTube page because I know Controversy Raphael is going to be posting a lot of the videos from tonight, Coach Borrego's post-game interview, as well as Malik Monk and LaMelo Ball. LaMelo had a lot to say tonight, and actually, LaMelo had more to say than normal tonight. I'm not going to give the spoiler it, but he had a couple interesting comments tonight, including something about players. All right, Mike Patton in the chat before we go says free Nick Richards. Well, if he gets freed on Wednesday night, welcome to the Joel Embiid show. That's all I'm going to say. So we'll talk more, guys, on Wednesday night. Like I said, it's a 4-game week this week. Wednesday night is the Philadelphia 76ers, with Friday night, I think, is Jazz, And then the game that was scheduled for Sunday is now Washington. They had to move the game because Washington had lost a whole bunch due to COVID. So they had to get some of this stuff rescheduled and move their Washington's West Coast games over to the second half of the season. So we'll check you guys out on Wednesday. Stay safe out there because COVID's no joke. Like I said, like, share, tag, please subscribe. And also, if it's in your heart that you want to go ahead and drop some coins in there, by all means, please do support the work. And like I said, we'll continue this process going every single night of the week. So for myself, Danny Thompson, I'll check you guys out on Wednesday night for the BuzzCity post-game show, the Philadelphia edition. We'll check you guys later out. Have a great night.